Have you ever felt like someone was trying to control your decisions or make you question your own thoughts, but you couldn't quite put your finger on why? Manipulation is one of the most subtle yet powerful tactics people use to influence others for their own benefit. Let's break down how to detect when someone is trying to manipulate you, starting with understanding what manipulation is and why people do it. Manipulation is when someone uses underhanded, deceptive, or indirect tactics to influence your behavior, thoughts, or actions. Unlike open and honest persuasion, manipulation is often subtle, leaving you unsure of what's happening. The manipulator's goal is to get what they want while making it seem like the decision was yours all along. For instance, imagine a friend who constantly makes you feel guilty for spending time with others. They might say things like, "I guess I'm just not as important to you anymore," to make you feel bad. On the surface, it may seem like they're expressing their feelings, but their true aim might be to control how you spend your time. Manipulation often works because it plays on emotions like guilt, fear, or obligation. Manipulation is often driven by the manipulator's insecurities, desires, or fears, making it more about their internal struggles than the person they are targeting. One common reason for manipulation is insecurity. People who feel powerless or lack confidence may use manipulation as a way to regain control in their lives. By influencing others, they create a false sense of power that temporarily masks their feelings of inadequacy. Another reason is the desire to avoid responsibility. Manipulators frequently deflect blame or shift accountability to others to escape consequences. For example, they might twist the situation to make you feel at fault for something that was clearly their responsibility, leaving you confused and defensive. This tactic helps them sidestep criticism while maintaining their sense of control. Personal gain is another major motivator for manipulation. Some individuals use deceitful tactics to achieve financial, emotional, or social benefits, often at the expense of others. Whether it's a colleague taking credit for your work or a friend exploiting your generosity, the manipulator prioritizes their own interests without considering the harm it causes. Lastly, fear of rejection can drive people to manipulate. They might use guilt or emotional blackmail to keep others close, fearing abandonment or loss of influence. For example, they might say, "If you really cared about me, you'd do this for me," playing on your emotions to maintain control in the relationship. Understanding these motivations can help you see through manipulative behavior and realize that it often stems from the manipulator's own struggles, not your actions. Recognizing this can empower you to detach emotionally and respond more effectively to their tactics. Manipulation isn't just frustrating, it can be emotionally and psychologically harmful. Over time, it can erode your confidence, making you doubt your instincts and create feelings of powerlessness. Manipulators thrive when you start questioning your own judgment, as it makes you easier to control. For example, a coworker might frequently downplay your contributions in meetings, saying things like, "It's not that big of a deal," or "I already thought of that idea." While these comments might seem minor at first, they can gradually chip away at your confidence, making you feel less capable than you are. Recognizing manipulation early is critical to protecting yourself from its long-term effects. Manipulation is rarely obvious. Instead, it often starts with subtle behaviors that might seem harmless or even caring at first. These tactics are designed to influence you without drawing attention to the manipulator's true intentions. By learning to recognize these signs early, you can protect yourself from falling into their trap. Let's explore some of the most common subtle manipulation tactics and how to spot them. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious forms of manipulation. It involves making someone doubt their own memory, perceptions, or sanity. For example, a manipulator might deny saying something they clearly said or insist that you're overreacting when you bring up a concern. Over time, this tactic can erode your confidence in your own judgment, making you more dependent on the manipulator's version of reality. Imagine you confront a friend about a hurtful comment, and they respond with, "I never said that, you must be imagining things." Or perhaps a coworker insists, "You're being too sensitive," When you point out an issue with their behavior, their dismissive statements are designed to make you question yourself, giving the manipulator more control over the narrative. Guilt is a powerful emotion, and manipulators often weaponize it to control others. They might make you feel responsible for their feelings or actions, even when it's not your fault. For instance, a family member might say, "I guess I'll just handle this alone since you're too busy to help," subtly blaming you for their situation. This tactic preys on your sense of responsibility and pushes you to act out of guilt rather than genuine desire. Another example is a friend who says, "If you really cared about me, you'd do this for me." These statements are designed to make you feel obligated to comply, even if it goes against your own needs or boundaries. Recognizing guilt tripping is crucial to maintaining your emotional independence. Passive aggressiveness is another subtle yet effective manipulation tactic. It involves indirect expressions of anger or hostility, such as sarcasm, backhanded compliments, or sulking. For example, a manipulator might say, "Wow, must be nice to have so much free time," implying criticism without directly addressing the issue. This approach allows them to avoid confrontation while still making you feel uncomfortable. Another example is when someone says, "Sure, I'll help, but I guess my plans don't matter," turning a favor into a guilt trip. Passive-aggressive behavior often leaves you feeling confused or defensive, which is exactly what the manipulator wants. Recognizing these patterns can help you address the behavior directly and maintain your boundaries. Not all manipulation is negative on the surface. Flattery and excessive attention, often called love bombing, are tactics used to gain your trust and make you feel indebted. For example, a manipulator might shower you with compliments, gifts, or constant validation early in a relationship, creating a sense of obligation. Once your defenses are down, they may begin to exert control, knowing you're more likely to comply because of the connection they've built. While it's natural to appreciate compliments or acts of kindness, manipulators use these tactics strategically. If someone's praise feels excessive or insincere, or if their attention suddenly turns into expectations or demands, it could be a sign of love bombing. Stay alert to these patterns and evaluate whether the behavior is genuine or part of a larger manipulation strategy. Manipulation often hides in plain sight, disguised as care, humor, or even affection. By recognizing these subtle tactics, like gaslighting, guilt-tripping, passive-aggressiveness, and flattery, you can take the first step towards protecting yourself. While subtle manipulation can be hard to detect, overt tactics are often more direct and aggressive. These behaviors are meant to exert control or influence in a way that feels deliberate, leaving little doubt about the manipulator's intentions. Let's explore some common overt manipulation tactics and how to recognize them in real time. One of the clearest signs of overt manipulation is the use of threats or ultimatums. A manipulator might try to force your hand by presenting extreme consequences if you don't comply with their demands. For instance, a partner might say, "If you don't do this for me, maybe we shouldn't be together." Or a boss might threaten, "If you can't handle this project, I'll have to find someone who can." These statements are designed to create fear or urgency, pushing you to act against your better judgment. When faced with threats or ultimatums, take a step back and consider whether the person's demands are fair or responsible. Often, they are exploiting your fear of loss or rejection to gain control. Manipulators often take advantage of personal information or vulnerabilities you've shared with them. They may use your fears, insecurities, or weaknesses to influence your decisions. For example, if you've expressed financial struggles, they might guilt you into doing extra work by saying, "I thought you'd be more eager to take on this opportunity given your situation." This tactic relies on emotional leverage, making you feel like you owe them something. To counter it, be cautious about what you share with people you don't fully trust, and remind yourself that your vulnerabilities shouldn't be used against you. Manipulators often apply excessive pressure to force a quick decision. They might say, "You need to decide right now," to prevent you from thinking critically about your options. Blame shifting is another common tactic, where they deflect responsibility for their actions by making you feel at fault. For instance, they might say, "You made me act this way," turning the blame onto you. To handle these situations, stay calm and insist on taking time to think before committing to anything. This removes the manipulator's advantage and allows you to make decisions with clarity. Recognizing overt manipulation is crucial for protecting your boundaries and maintaining control. Whether it's threats, exploiting vulnerabilities, or applying pressure, these tactics can be disarmed with awareness and assertiveness. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.